There are a host of ways to do the dumbbell lunge, and the truth is it can get a little bit overwhelming to decide which one to do on any given day. But I'm going to show you my favorite version of the move, and this version of the move is going to be one that we can load up with weight. We're also going to get our abs with this move too, because we're going to get a little bit of anti-rotation action in there, and we're going to still get to build a ton of strength because that winds up being the beauty of the dumbbell lunge overall. Now here's the thing with the dumbbell lunge. Overall, it winds up being a terrifically customizable move, but we're always going to be training the same basic muscle groups. You wind up hitting your hamstrings and your glutes a ton. We wind up hitting those muscles athletically too, because we're going to get to work into what's called hip extension. We're still going to get some quad in there, and our core winds up working overtime, especially the way I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get into it. So there are two main reasons that the dumbbell lunge is highly customizable. The first is because of how we can handle things with our lower body, and the second is because of how we can handle things in terms of gripping the dumbbells. In terms of the lower body, we can do this as a forward lunge or we can do this as a reverse lunge. Now both moves have value, but the truth is the reverse lunge really should be your standard way of lunging in general, because it's going to be a little bit more athletic. It's going to be a lot more knee friendly as well, as putting you in a position that's a little bit more natural to life. As we come up out of the reverse lunge, we wind up hitting a position called hip extension. This is when we're driving our hips forward because we're squeezing our glutes. That is fundamental to athleticism. It's fundamental to good posture as well. And building that glute strength in that fashion is something that we're just not going to get on the forward lunge. So when we do any of our lunges, I want you to think about doing it as a reverse lunge. I also want you to get all your reps in on one side. Doing alternating lunges is fine if we only have light weights, but your goal when you do the dumbbell reverse lunge should be to take it heavy. We want to think about doing 8 and 10 reps and really pushing it with the weight. And when you do that, it's better to stay on one side, bang out all your reps. You're going to get a lot more constant tension on one side. You're going to get a lot more chance to really build muscle instead of just burning calories and instead of just wiping your entire body out, which is what's going to happen when you're doing those alternating reps. The other thing we can do is we can really change up our grip position. Now, there are a variety of ways that you can really do the dumbbell lunge. We can hold 2 weights at our sides, which is fine, and that's going to be your best way to really load up this move because we can just double the amount of weight we're going to hold. It's nice and simple. That's a nice standard way to do this. We can also play with a front rack where we're holding both dumbbells at our shoulders. It's going to place a little bit more challenge on our abs. Or we can start to mix ideas. You can go to what's called a mixed rack, where you're going to have one dumbbell in this front rack position. That's going to really challenge your abs a little bit. It's going to challenge your forearm. It's going to challenge your shoulder. And you have the other dumbbell in that more standard suitcase position. Once you're into that mixed position, we've got a blend of core in terms of having to maintain that front rack and anti-rotation because the weight is off. Your abs wind up having to work overtime. All of those are fine. The best version of the move, in my opinion, is going to be a single load dumbbell reverse lunge. What we're gonna do, we're gonna hold the dumbbell on the side of the leg where we're stepping back. And the reason we're gonna do that is to really challenge our core. When I'm holding this single load, the load is going to naturally tip me down to one side. My abs have to fire in order to keep my shoulders square, and I wanna think about that as I'm doing this lunge. The great thing about this too is I can pick this dumbbell up. I'm doing this with a 30-pound dumbbell, but you can easily pick up a 70, an 80, or a 90. Not easily exactly, but it's gonna be some challenge. But we wanna take on that challenge, take on all that anti-rotation and anti-lateral flexion. That's the idea of making sure that my shoulders stay square in this position and my abs really have to fire. Take on that challenge while we're doing the lunge. We wind up training our legs. We're training balance as well once we do this, and we're gonna hit our abs. Now, how do we do this dumbbell reverse lunge in general, regardless of your grip? And I'm gonna show you with this single load reverse lunge. All we're gonna do, we're gonna start standing. I wanna make sure that I'm in a really good position for posture though. So I'm gonna think about squeezing my glutes. I'm using my abs to drive my rib cage down. I wanna keep them there. And I'm not being lazy with this arm. I wanna think about squeezing my shoulder blades nice and tight so that I'm in a good position of control. I'm also gonna grip the heck out of this dumbbell. I'm not just gonna be lazy with this either. I wanna grip the dumbbell nice and evenly, try to squeeze through it. I'm gonna wind up getting a little bit of forearm work, especially the heavier I go with this move. From there, all we wanna do, we wanna think about keeping our shoulders and hips square to the front, try to focus on something. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm going to step back. Now, I'm not just going to step back, I'm thinking about stepping back and away a little bit. So I don't want to step too tight where I'm on train tracks, but instead think about stepping out a little bit. Once I've stepped out, I'm going to lower down. Don't quite let your back knee hit the ground. You should be able to keep your knee an inch off the ground. And then from this position, I'm going to drive up through that right heel, stand up, and squeeze my glutes. You can, if you need, on the dumbbell reverse lunge, you don't need to necessarily think about keeping your torso completely straight up and down. It's okay to lean forward a little bit. Doing so is gonna wind up attacking your glutes a little bit, and that's a nice benefit of the move. So as we lower down, we're gonna pause for a split second at the bottom, stand and squeeze our glutes. And we wanna think about standing fast and squeezing our glutes. That's a nice athletic idea. When we are jumping, when we are running, when we are doing anything athletic, it is all about squeezing our glutes and driving into hip extension, which is what we get to do during the dumbbell reverse lunge. So that is the basic dumbbell lunge, best done as a reverse lunge, best done with a single load. Don't be afraid to challenge that load either. I did it with a 30. That's a nice, easy weight, but we can push that a lot farther, and you should be thinking about pushing this a lot farther. Think of this as a strength move. This is not just simply a metabolic move that you're trying to do for, say, 40 seconds on, 20 off, and you're doing this with 15, 20-pound dumbbells. Let's learn to load this up and build some strength and build some muscle, because that is where the move is at its best. So aim to pick up something heavy. Think about doing, say, 6 to 10 reps. Don't be afraid to drop it as low as 6 reps while really, really pushing that load. And you want to do 3 sets per side. One thing you want to think about, though, is not simply doing all your reps on the right side and then doing all your reps on the left side and then taking your break. But think about doing all your reps on the right side, take about a minute, then go to the left side, take about a minute after that. It will take a while, but by doing that, you're ensuring that you're not entering a set with one of your legs fatigued, but you can really push it with both of your legs. That's how you're gonna build strength. And this is meant to be a strength building move in addition to getting a little bit of core, and we wind up getting that grip too. This is a great move to put at the end of your leg workouts. So think about doing this after you've done heavy deadlifts and heavy squats, and maybe you've hit some leg press. We want to get a unilateral move in, and we want to get something in athletic. You can finish with the dumbbell reverse lunge. You'll wind up with a great pump. You wind up hitting everything you need to in your legs. You get a lot of quad, hamstring, glute. We're going to get all those stabilizing muscles in our legs too. It's a nice indispensable move, and a great thing is if you go to a hotel, you can also make this your lead leg exercise. A lot of those hotel gyms do not have the heavy dumbbells that can challenge you on, say, squats and deadlifts, but we can grab the heaviest dumbbell in the hotel gym, make that your lead leg exercise, get a good pump out of it, and then finish with a little bit of body weight stuff. No matter what, dumbbell lunge winds up being a really, really indispensable piece of any leg routine. It's something that you can do in a variety of situations, so make sure to master this move and master this version of the move, because there are so many benefits. Whether you're looking for strength, whether you're looking for athleticism, keep dumbbell lunges in your workout.